Tonight, the candidates seek to nail down every vote they can as the presidential race nears the home stretch, both sharpening their attacks as they blitz those crucial battleground states, plus the tragedy in Georgia, multiple deaths when a ferry dock collapses. First tonight, the race for the White House. 16 days to go, the candidates all in on the must-win battleground states. Vice President Kamala Harris visiting churches in Georgia, asking voters to choose compassion over chaos. The race is close there, with early voting already breaking records. Donald Trump in Pennsylvania wearing an apron and working the fryer at McDonald's. The former president attacking Harris with a profane four-letter insult. There's growing criticism after he made lewd comments about golfing legend Arnold Palmer, and it comes as one of his biggest supporters, Elon Musk, pledges to give millions of dollars to voters. Our team covering it all. Also tonight, the investigation into a catastrophic gangway collapse. 7 people killed during a celebration on an island off Georgia. Witnesses say it happened so quickly, the victims couldn't react. The U.S. now investigating a significant intelligence leak of highly classified documents purportedly describing Israel's potential plans for attacking Iran. And new Israeli strikes in Gaza, at least 87 people killed. Historic flooding in New Mexico, nearly 8 inches falling since last night. The National Guard rescuing nearly 300 people in Roswell. Help from overseas, the first shipment of IV fluids arriving to ease a nationwide shortage after Hurricane Helene shut down a critical factory. Backstage with the boss, our George Stephanopoulos gets rare access to Bruce Springsteen on his latest tour. And America strong, the NFL rookie suiting up weeks after being shot in a robbery attempt. And the injured star who visited so many children in hospitals, tonight they're the ones sharing words of encouragement for him.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on this busy Sunday. I'm Rachel Scott in for Lindsay Davis. We have a lot to get to tonight. The urgent investigation in southern Georgia after that deadly gangway collapse. We'll have the latest from the scene. But first, there are just 16 days left until the November election. Early voting is already underway and breaking records in some states. 14 million people have already cast their ballots so far. Both candidates are focusing on the battleground states where this race will ultimately be decided. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Georgia asking voters to choose compassion over chaos as Donald Trump escalates his attacks using profanity. We have team coverage tonight of both campaigns. ABC's MaryAlice Parks leads us off from the White House.
Tonight, 16 days until Election Day, Vice President Kamala Harris and running mate Tim Walz mobilizing swing state voters from the pews to the polls.
What kind of country do we want to live in? A country of chaos, fear, and hate, or a country of freedom, compassion, and justice?
My faith is very clear. My faith tells me to care for the poor. Not to rig the system for the wealthy, but to care for the poor.
Walz in battleground Michigan and Harris in critical Georgia. The vice president joined by her pastor from California, talking about her personal spiritual journey and childhood memories in church. Harris mentioning the parable of the Good Samaritan, to love thy neighbor as thyself.
Are all people of faith expressing those words in their actions? Do we have leaders in place who understand that in the face of a stranger, one should see a neighbor?
One congregation breaking out in song to wish the vice president a happy 60th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Musician Stevie Wonder adding his voice to the chorus. President Biden won Georgia by just over 11,000 votes 4 years ago, and Democrats are hoping for a repeat. Harris is leading Trump by 2 points nationally, according to ABC News' 538 polling average. But in Georgia, a new Quinnipiac poll out this week of likely voters showing Trump ahead by 6 points. As her campaign rolls out economic plans for black men, Harris responding late today to headlines suggesting Trump is making inroads with black male voters.
I must earn the vote of everyone, regardless of their race or gender. Because why would black men be any different than any other demographic of voter? They expect that you earn their vote.
Georgia's first day of early in-person voting breaking records, more than doubling the number of ballots cast on the same day in 2020.
We're almost pushing 1.4 million who've already voted early or who we've accepted their absentee ballots. We're probably going to see a record turnout early voting.
Yeah, record-breaking early voting numbers in that state already. MaryAlice Parks joins us live. MaryAlice, it's a busy week ahead for both of these candidates. And tonight, you're learning that Vice President Kamala Harris is set to campaign with former President Barack Obama for the first time.
Yeah, this week, Rachel, she'll be barnstorming some of those key battleground states. First, tomorrow, she'll be with former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney. They'll be in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. But then later in the week, on Thursday, she'll be back in Georgia with her first appearance with former President Barack Obama. And then she heads to Michigan for an event with Michelle Obama. We know those two of the most popular figures in the Democratic Party. Rachel.
MaryAlice tracking it all for us. MaryAlice, thank you. Donald Trump is focusing on Pennsylvania, making 3 stops in the must-win battleground state today. In the final stretch, the former president delivering a sharply different closing message and using profane language to attack Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's ABC's Alex Presha.
Tonight, Donald Trump speeding through the must-win state of Pennsylvania.
I just want to thank everybody. I think we're going to do really well.
With 16 days to go, stopping by McDonald's, pushing unsubstantiated claims that Vice President Kamala Harris lied about working at the fast food chain in college. And Trump not committing to respecting the 2024 election results.
Either way, will you accept the results of the election?
Yeah, sure. If it's a fair election, always. I would always accept it if it's got to be a fair election.
On Saturday in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, Trump's campaign said his speech would focus on their closing message. Instead, he spent more than 10 minutes talking about golf legend Arnold Palmer, who was born in the city, and how he looked in the shower.
Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. When he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
On stage, Trump also attacked Harris in vulgar and profane terms. Tonight, Vice President Harris pushing back.
What you see in my opponent, a former president of the United States, really is, it demeans the office. And I have said, and I'm very clear about this, Donald Trump should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. He has not earned the right.
Trump supporters distancing themselves from his language, but standing by their endorsements.
Look, I don't like it. I don't like the profanity. I don't like personal attacks. I don't like any of that stuff. I'm a results-driven guy when it comes to public service. But nothing new and nothing that's going to move the dial when it comes to this election right now. It's just par for the course. He speaks in hyperbole. He gets his crowds riled up.
Earlier this week, Trump suggested the military should be used against his political opponents. Tonight, again calling them the, quote, enemy within.
The outside people, the so-called enemies, if they're enemies, and they might not be enemies, if you have a smart president, they can be handled. I think Nancy Pelosi is an enemy from within.
Rachel, billionaire Elon Musk has endorsed Trump and is spending millions to register voters. In fact, he's pledged to randomly give away $1 million a day for anyone who signs his super PAC's petition. Now, experts tell ABC News that paying people to vote or even to register to vote is a federal crime. We've reached out to Musk's political group for comment and have not heard back yet. Rachel?
Yeah, Pennsylvania Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro suggesting today that law enforcement should be looking into that. All right, Alex, thank you for your reporting tonight. We turn now to our other top story, the deadly ferry dock collapse in Georgia. At least 7 people have died. Several more were hurt. Witnesses say it all happened so fast the victims could not react. Tonight, officials are now investigating what they are calling a catastrophic failure. ABC's Faith Abubey reporting from Georgia tonight.
Tonight, Georgia authorities investigating the catastrophic failure they say caused a dock gangway collapse, killing 7 people.
It's going to be at the Sapelo Ferry dock, Sapelo Ferry.
Just before 4 Saturday afternoon, the walkway that leads from the island to a floating dock crashing into the water at Sapelo Island, about 60 miles south of Savannah. More than 700 people there celebrating Gullah Geechee culture, descendants of enslaved Africans.
These celebrations ended in a tragedy as a gangway that led from the dock to the ferry collapsed and approximately 20 people fell into the water.
Emergency crews using boats equipped with sonar and helicopters searching for victims in the water.
People were on the edge pulling people out of the water. They were laying on the side of the banks, and people were trying to do CPR to revive people.
Tonight, 3 people remain in critical condition. Beverly and Irving Jones were on the gangway just before it plunged down.
I felt it start to slide, like going backwards. So I leaped and jumped. The two girls behind me, they fell in, the whole ramp fell in, collapsed.
We were trying to throw out the life jackets, but the current was so hard it was just taking people away.
And tonight we're learning the names of the victims who tragically lost their lives, all senior citizens ranging in age from 73 to 93. The State Department of Natural Resources, which operates the dock and ferries, now working to determine what exactly caused the collapse.
It is a structural failure. There should be very, very little maintenance to an aluminum gangway like that, but we'll see what the investigation unfolds.
And Rachel, officials say the ferry bridge is relatively new. It was built at the end of 2021, which raises a lot of questions about why it would fail so soon. In the meantime, President Biden has spoken with Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp and local officials. He is extending his sympathies while offering federal resources. Rachel.
Still so many questions how that could have happened. Faith, thank you. And the first flight of much-needed medical IV fluids has arrived in the United States from abroad. Many more are planned. All of this in an effort to ease shortages after Hurricane Helene gutted a major plant in North Carolina. The situation has affected hospitals nationwide. Some had to put off certain procedures. We turn now to the dangerous situation in New Mexico. Parts of the state remain on alert for more potential flooding. First responders and the National Guard rescued hundreds of people overnight. Water levels in some areas have gone down, but not before stranding drivers when their vehicles got stuck. WABC meteorologist Danny Beckstrom is here now. Danny, take us through how long this threat is going to last.
Rachel, flood watches remain in effect through late tonight as this stalled system over the Four Corners region continues to drop rain this evening. Near Roswell, where many of those rescues happened, almost 8 inches of rain fell in just 24 hours. Roswell itself setting an all-time record for daily rainfall with nearly 6 inches. The threat now shifts just north, where an additional 1 to 3 inches are possible through early Monday morning. Now to the tropics, Hurricane Oscar approaching landfall in eastern Cuba as a Category 1 hurricane. It makes a U-turn, heads toward the southeast Bahamas as it weakens with no threat to the U.S. Here at home, warmth is the weather story for most. Record highs possible from Tucson to Minneapolis down through Dallas to start the week, and that trend looks to hold through the end of the month. Rachel?
Danny, thank you. U.S. officials tonight are investigating a possible classified intelligence leak after documents appeared online purportedly analyzing potential Israeli plans for a retaliatory strike on Iran. This comes as the casualties continue to mount in Gaza. Dozens were reportedly killed there overnight. And today, Israel confirming an IDF leader has died in the fighting. ABC's Tom Soufi-Burge from Tel Aviv tonight.
Tonight, U.S. officials investigating a potential classified intelligence leak after documents purportedly analysing Israel's preparations for a possible strike against Iran surfaced on social media.
The leak is very concerning. There's some serious allegations being made there, investigation underway, and I'll get a briefing on that.
The documents, which ABC News cannot independently verify, contain markings which indicate they originated from the U.S. intelligence agency that collects and analyses satellite imagery, and apparently shows specific details about the types and number of missiles Israel may be readying for a large-scale strike against Iran, in retaliation for Iran launching nearly 200 ballistic missiles at Israel earlier this month. It comes as Israel escalates its operation in northern Gaza. Airstrikes flattening this area overnight, killing at least 87 people, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Children treated in hospital, and today an IDF colonel killed in the fighting. This IDF reservist speaking out, Mikhail Ofezir, telling us the war and human suffering in Gaza will only lead to more violence.
What we are doing and what we have been doing in Gaza for the past year is deeply immoral, deeply wrong, and need to be stopped.
And tonight, Israel has carried out a series of strikes in Beirut and other parts of Lebanon. The IDF saying it was responding to Hezbollah attacks into northern Israel. And Rachel, it's not clear whether that potential U.S. intelligence leak will impact Israel's plans to launch a retaliatory strike against Iran. Rachel?
Tom, thank you. Staying overseas now, tonight there is potential new evidence that North Korea is sending soldiers to Russia to possibly fight against Ukraine. ABC's Inez De La Catera is following those developments. Inez, what more are you learning?
Yeah, Rachel, and we've geolocated a new video circulating online appearing to show North Korean soldiers in Russia's Far East. It's still unclear when the video was shot, but this comes after South Korea's National Intelligence Service reported that in recent weeks, approximately 1,500 North Korean soldiers were transported to Russia, releasing satellite images they say show those North Korean troops at Russian military bases. And they're estimating in all up to 12,000 soldiers will be sent, though Russia denies this. Tonight, Ukrainian President Zelensky warning of a new threat, saying Ukraine has clear evidence showing people are being supplied to Russia from North Korea and that this means another country is joining the war. Rachel?
That would be an escalation. All right, Inez, thank you. Now to a homecoming of sorts for San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, 50 days after being shot in the chest during an attempted armed robbery. This week, the rookie has been seen practicing with the team, and tonight he's on the field ready to make his debut. Here's ABC's Melissa Adan.
Tonight, just 7 weeks after a dramatic shooting in downtown San Francisco that left 49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall fighting for his life.
Miraculously, he's back on the field.
Moments ago, back on the field, making his NFL debut against the Kansas City Chiefs. Fans erupting before the game as the 24-year-old took the field for warm-ups.
He's had a hell of a week, and we're just pumped to get him out there.
It was just 50 days ago the rookie receiver was shot in the chest following an attempted robbery. That's him being loaded onto a stretcher, suffering from a gunshot wound when police say a 17-year-old confronted him after signing autographs at an event. Pearsall miraculously avoiding damage to his vital organs and was seen back in the facility the following week. Veteran San Francisco police officer now hailed a hero, telling me if it wasn't for her quick response, he could have lost his life.
Rachel, Pearsall taking the field for the first time, the crowd cheering him on as he made his first career catch in his NFL debut. Rachel?
A celebrated homecoming. All right, Melissa, thank you. And there is still so much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. The search for suspects after 2 deadly shootings at 2 different homecoming celebrations. And the class of 24 is inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Next tonight, 2 deadly shootings at homecoming celebrations. In Georgia, 1 person was killed and 5 others injured when gunfire erupted Saturday night at Albany State University. Meanwhile, in Mississippi, a mass shooting at a party in Holmes County on Friday night. 3 people were killed there, 8 others injured by gunfire. No arrests have been reported in either of those shootings. Still ahead, backstage with Bruce Springsteen, what he hopes his fans take away from his concerts. To the index now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has inducted a new class of legends. Cher and Dua Lipa shared the stage Saturday night. At 78, Cher is the only woman to have a Billboard #1 in each of the last 7 decades. Other inductees included Dionne Warwick, Kool and the Gang, and Peter Frampton. ABC will air highlights of the show on New Year's Day. Next, a rare backstage pass with the boss. ABC's George Stephanopoulos recently met Bruce Springsteen backstage at the E Street Band continues its world tour. They're on the road for more than 100 shows, each one unique.
You know, you always say that you want them to leave with more than they came.
That's my guarantee.
Guarantee?
Yeah, that's my guarantee. People are going to leave with more than what they brought in.
And there's a lot more in Georgia's special Bruce Springsteen backstage and backstreets tonight at 10 Eastern right here on ABC. We come back, America's strong. He was there for them. Now his littlest fans are paying him back. Finally tonight, America's strong. A story of kindness repaid many times over.
Tonight in Ann Arbor, Michigan, a big show of support for Detroit Line star edge rusher Adan Hutchinson from some of the smallest fighters.
Bye, Annie. We love you, Hutch. Bye-bye.
Hutchinson broke his leg during a Lions game against the Cowboys in Arlington, Texas last weekend. He was rushed to a local hospital for immediate surgery. His team and his community were shaken, but especially his smallest fans at the University of Michigan Health C.S. Mott Children's Hospital. For years, he's taken time off the field to bring a little joy to the patients, often writing many of their names on his water jugs before games. Now those pediatric patients are sending him that love right back.
Adan, you got this. You're strong.
You got this, Hutch.
I hope you feel better, Hutch.
You were there for us, now we're there for you.
And this time, it's Hutchinson's name on those water jugs. The words, Hutch Strong. and the touching messages of support.
You got this, big guy.
Stay strong, Hutch.
You can do this.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm Rachel Scott. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.